All right, and we're back. Last hour of Lost Initiative Week 34. Continue, please.
Alrighty. So, ending an hour early this week, as Mathis just said for that last hour. So, you guys had hopped on the river, as we had said, the River Desiree, and made your way down there. The travel ended up being hapless, which is nice, and eventually pulled you into the city of Waterdeep. Now, the city of Waterdeep is fucking huge. It is known as the City of Splendors, the Crown of the North, et cetera, et cetera. Its population is over 2 million. You know what I mean? It is absolutely ginormous. It has some of the greatest castles in it, keeps in it. It has the shittiest little like backwater or like gutter places to stay. It has the most ships in the Sea of the Sword Coast. Sorry. And on the Sword Coast, it is just absolutely ginormous. It's run by a group of different captains whose identity is all kept hidden for their safety, and da-da-da-da-da. It is, again, just a ginormous city, and there's so much to do here, so much you guys can find here. However, this is not where you intend to stay. This isn't where you want to be. You need to continue traveling very far to the south. As I had said, you need to get as far south as Baldur's Gate, which, traveling by land, is a long way to do. You do, however, have the opportunity to travel it by sea, because they are both port cities. And even going by sea, it's about 600 miles south of here. Again, the way a bird flies, closer to 500, but because you have to avoid being too close to the coast and da-da-da-da. By land, it's actually closer to 700 miles, and you travel much slower on foot than you do by a boat. A boat just travels nonstop at a higher rate. So,
what if we go by sky?
Sky, okay. There are two options to do that because I'm not following by 5e rules for this one. One, you can just straight up teleport, which is super friggin' expensive, but you could pay somebody to do that. Two, you could, there's an old spell that exists in older editions that I don't know why it's gone, but it's called the Overland Flight. The cool thing about that spell is, well, one, it needs to be cast on you by a temple. So you need to go to one of the major temples here and make a donation that's large enough and make a diplomacy check or whatever it is. It's great enough, persuasion check, to convince them to cast it. But it literally turns you into like a poofy cloud, and you travel at an extreme rate. And you can kind of like float around as a poofy cloud for an extended period of time to get you down to where it is you're trying to go.
What about the giant eagle we have?
Could that giant eagle handle all of you guys? And what about your horsies?
Fuck the horses. All right, and it doesn't weigh anything. I'm pretty tiny, so it's just Grommen.
In her arm, in Grommen's armory.
I thought you had a named horse, right?
Nah.
I thought your horse's name was Ponyta.
My name's fucking horses because like you name a thing when it's yours, but it wasn't like an attachment.
Grommen named his horse.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So would Grommen be willing to part with his horse to ride on Gregory for a while?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, well, there you go. So what was it that you just said about the flying thing? I said, was he enough to handle all of you? That was my question. You had a rebuttal there, Sam. What was it?
No, I was just saying like you only really have to worry about Grommen.
Yeah.
The other two don't weigh a lot.
So a giant eagle's strength is a 16. Which strength for larger creatures is not exactly the same as a strength for a medium-sized creature. But when you're dealing with flight versus walking, it once again changes the way that things work. As it stands right now, the bird is not strong enough to carry you guys a very long, extended periods of time with you on its back. Grommen, sure, all of you, just the two of you, way easier. All of you guys together is a lot of weight to be able to do that. So, what is the like? Do you have any way to maybe enhance its strength or its ability to do that?
But I
have no magic.
I bet we could find one.
I have enlarged extremities. I could make his wings larger.
Or would it just be one wing?
How much do we...
I have multiple potions.
Oh, sweet. Is it permanent or is it temporary?
It's temporary.
It's temporary. It lasts for an hour, but that's still pretty friggin' cool. Anyways, go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say. Apparently, a medium load for a giant eagle carrying capacity is 600 pounds.
Um,
Up to 600 pounds.
And I
Uh,
have 3 potions of hill giant strength.
that's certainly a big thing. But you're going for extended periods of time. Those are only an hour each. So Grommen, because Grommen weighs he's a beast of weight, isn't he? Because like real life, I am 5'11", not jacked as a motherfucker, and I weigh 210.
Grommen's
So
like 400 pounds on his own.
yeah, he's
I
like
don't
he's
have
like
my character sheet. My character sheet weight on it.
You need
Yeah.
to go on a diet.
You have that. You have it, right? My network drive is borked right now, so I can't access it.
I mean I know it's going to be a lot. So
That's
what?
not including your weapons. That's like
Yeah, exactly. It's
Oh,
not
yeah, it
including
wasn't
the
including my
arsenal.
Stuff, yeah.
And we all saw the picture that Ollie drew at one point with. Yeah. So I mean, we could just guess 350 because a flat number for Grommen naked, and then obviously equipment and whatnot on top of that, and then Rye weighs probably what, like 130 or something like that. You said 120.
probably 130 with the gear.
Yeah, exactly. So very quickly it's starting to add up with So it'd be.
Curses!
She could make it. You guys could make Gregory do it. It would just be difficult for Gregory.
Yeah.
But it's not out of the realm. I've never said it was out of the realm of possibility.
We must seek alternative methods.
So if you wanted to, you could try to use magical means to do it. Maybe even finding yourself a way to temporarily boost Gregory's strength to get your way through there. Just again to like fuck the sea. I don't want to take that chance. Grommen's like, nope, I did a river. I'm good. Walking takes too long and whatnot. So it's up to you.
Grommen agrees to talk to Gregory about it.
Sure. Okay. So do you guys speak to it amongst yourselves first before going to speak to Gregory, or?
Andrew's pretty much like, whatever. You guys choose. I'm good with whatever you want to do. It's your call. If we need to go find some magical scrolls or something to try and make it easier for him, we can do that, but just get ready to pay out of your pocket for it.
Rise down for whatever. She knows that sea isn't preferable and land would take forever, so she's down to seek alternate methods. We also have a large coffer of gold at our disposal.
And I don't imagine we're talking about this without Gregory. Like, Gregory can still be here. He just can't talk back to them.
When you
Yeah,
say
he can understand them.
right, when
Yeah.
you say that, Andrew looks to you. How much gold are you talking?
I think like 3,000?
That's not including how much I'm carrying on me.
How important is it to get there quickly?
It's just like traveling is lame.
I agree. That's why I went into wizarding school. Well, I mean, that and my parents, but that's beside the point. There is a spell. It's going to be expensive, and to find somebody who knows it's going to be difficult, but it would be instantaneous. Teleportation.
Oh, I like that idea
I
more.
do like the sound of instantaneous.
What do you think, Gregory? And he pats Gregory.
Gregory, the concept of teleportation is lost on Gregory. So he just kind of like,
Bird claws. I'm just saying, the downside, and it's not my money, it's yours, is that it's expensive.
I mean, what else am I going to spend the money on?
That's the attitude I like. Well, booze. But other than that, I like that attitude. And we are in Waterdeep, which is a huge city. I'm sure there's at least a couple of people here who know the spell. Are you willing to chalk up a few thousand to get us there quickly?
I mean, technically, we'd spend a few thousand anyway, right? Traveling and drinking and sleeping.
Then let's find ourselves a teleportation spell, shall we?
I like that part, though.
I like the drinking part. I'm with the part. I'm with you there, Grommen. But teleportation. Let's find ourselves somebody who can use that magic, shall we? And Andrew, kind of with a skip in his step, is kind of excited to start wandering, looking for this particular thing.
okay. So that being said, why don't you going around and looking? Is this something where you're like, I'm trying to find them today, or I'll take a couple days to figure this out.
That's more up to Ryan, Gromit, and
I mean, instantaneous implies that we can have a few days fucking around,
there you
figuring
go.
out how.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. And now Anders running off and doing this. Is anybody else assisting Ander in this?
Sure.
I imagine Gromit. Do you teleport? Like, how does Gromit assist in this situation?
I don't know. He can intimidate them if he needs to.
You know teleports, you lie. To like a random deckhand that happens to be in a bar from a ship. Like, please, no. Rye, how are you assisting?
With whatever he tells me to do.
Just have me roll. What am I rolling?
It's going to be an investigation to try to find out, but just roll me a flat investigation check.
I'm a street urchin, you know? I can read any form of writing.
Any form of writing can certainly come into your hands. You know, why don't you? Because you do have your.
Hey!
Oh, fuck me.
Nice.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry, you were saying,
Ander's a
Scott?
beast, man.
What was
sorry,
that? What do you need me to do?
Something about us not being able to do it.
Yeah. Also, what I meant by persuasion is Gromit can like intimidate them to like make it not cost as much.
True.
And maybe that could come into play.
Yeah.
But
He's like, oh fuck.
okay, so you're just like, no, we're a water deep. We can find somebody. There's like a school here that teaches magic, and there's like guilds and stuff. We'll find somebody. That's conjuration magic, right? I'll find somebody that knows conjuration magic. And so you go walking straight into a wizard's place looking for people that know how to. It's literally like one of those. You walk into a room, like into a library that has like some great old tomes, lots of knowledge in here for people to like pour over, study, da 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 da. You literally walk into this library, everybody's quiet, studying, and so on and so forth. And it's kind of like, who here can cast teleport? And a whole bunch of heads turn your way, and a bunch of them raise their hand.
And then I follow up, who here is willing to sell their services of teleporting?
Several hands drop, but 3 stay up.
Well, boys and maybe girls, I don't know, you didn't tell me. Let's talk.
Well, looking about the room and seeing who your options are for people to speak with, one of them is you see a middle-aged, maybe a little younger human. You see an elf with a bit of a ruddy skin, maybe a wood elf. That who knows their age? They're elves. How can you tell? And you see and this is a very peculiar looking thing. You see a large, bulky creature that's covered head to toe in scales, has these strange reptilian eyes, and even a tail at the, let's just say head to tail in scales.
This is 5e.
Even
It's
a tail at the end of
Dragonborn.
it.
They're there. They're everywhere.
I mean, you've never seen one of these before? You don't know what it is?
They're everywhere, Scott. It's 5e.
They are not everywhere.
Gromit points at that one. He's like, that one look cool.
I usher all 3 of them to come over. Let's start playing who's gonna give me the best price.
You usher all 3 of them to come over. You're like, all 3 of you guys, come here. Let's talk. None of them move.
Damn it.
We're gonna play Price is Right.
Come on down.
Come on down. Yeah.
Well, for my own personal history, then I'll probably go to the wood elf. It'd make
Okay.
more sense as for a forest gnome to do that.
So none of them like walk over. You just kind of go walk.
Yeah, shrug, and I was like, I picked the wood elf.
So you go walking up to the guy, and he's like, "You were inquiring about a teleportation spell, please. Where is it that you're trying to go?"
Do I know where we're going?
He knows that Ryan knows that it's near Boulder's Gate, and that's a good distance from here. It's also a pretty major location.
We know the name of the city, right? It's like Nez or whatever.
Yeah. Well, what I'll tell him is like to Baldur's Gate, ideally.
To Baldur's Gate, I'm actually very familiar with Baldur's Gate. And how many of you will be traveling?
3 of us and a rather large bird.
A large bird?
Very.
Can the bird come in with us?
No, absolutely not. Not welcome inside the city.
Oh,
Like
damn.
like ballistas will shoot it down if it's brought into the city. You would have been warned outside the city. Just the bird can't come in.
Aw, poor Gregory.
Yeah, a rather large bird. No, I'm not talking like sit on a shoulder eagle size. I'm saying like
He's
15
bigger than Grumman, right?
15 feet tall or something.
Grumman standing up behind Anders, and he's like showing how big the bird is.
A giant owl.
No, it's like an eagle.
A giant eagle, then.
Yes.
Okay. It's going to be a little difficult to fit that into my. Into my study. It's possible for me to do this for you, and you have the coin.
How much are we asking? What's the going price?
Well, there are 3 of you, and the eagle. I say 3,000 gold.
He nods. Well, we have that. We have the coin now. Merely. Oh, all right. She has the money, so it's her call, you know. And I gesture to Rye.
I was gonna make a deal, but no, Mom. Rye already put down the money.
So Rye's just happy to say sold.
No, I think Rai goes to say sold to Grumman, just like
That's like the rub between. It's like Rye wants to say sold, but Sam's like, I know I shouldn't do that. Okay, so if you guys want to continue the negotiation.
Now, what would you cut the price down if we cut the bird out of the equation?
Grumman looks at you like, what?
The bird can fly.
That's
No, I don't leave Gregory.
Okay.
apparently a non-factor.
He could meet us there.
Humor me if we did cut the bird off out of the equation for my sake.
2,000 gold.
Shave 1,000 off.
Why don't we make it 2,500 and we keep Bird?
And what benefit is there for me of doing it like that?
Grumman says this while looking angry. He's trying to intimidate him.
Yep. And to which he responds, and so because he said those words, and Grauman's like looking, "Arr," and he just kind of like holds his expression that he had. His not too invested expression that he has. My response to you, Maggie, was, and what benefit do I have of doing that?
Yeah, and that was Grumman's response. Was he
Was just
gave
the
him-
anger face? Yeah. Yep. And then I guess they're looking at each other. Okay. And so he's like, yeah, unfortunately, I don't see any great benefit for reducing the price of this. They are services and they're unique and hard to come by.
I mean, Andrew kind of like swivels in his chair like I'm doing right now, and he thinks, what if I gave you a peek at my spell book? Maybe cut the price down and I give you one of my spells in trade.
Where did you study?
I can't remember the name of the school I was sent off to.
I have no clue. That's
Just
your
a
story.
School. A school. Insert
I thought
school.
I thought you were independently trained by a wizard.
My
I
family
think it was
shipped
like
me
master
off,
apprentice.
more or less, so...
Yeah, but I thought it was a master apprentice thing because of your unique situation.
I think that was the original story. I thought we switched it, but I'm down for keeping that. So yeah, no, I'll give him the name of my master, of the teacher. It was a private education.
I'm not familiar with the name, but that doesn't mean that it's not of value. Ooh, that is tempting.
Would
And I may
my-
select a spell of my choice.
I'll nod, and I'll even let him know my specialty is divining.
All right, very well then. You let me look in your spell book, and looking over at Grauman, and Grauman still having his like grrr face, he says, "I'll do the 2,500.
And that includes the bird.
That includes the bird, the 3 of you, teleportation to Boulder's Gate."
Andrew looks back for approval at Rye. Is that good? Is that a good price for Grommen, the both of you? Like, are we good on
Rai's
2,500?
currently, like muted by Grumman.
I look to
Grommen.
Grommen then. Is 2,500 good, Grommen?
Grumman nods.
And then Andrew will turn around and nod. Agreed. And he sticks his hand out for like the handshake.
He'll shake your hand, and he'll say, "I can meet you tomorrow evening. I, of course, have dealings that I must finish up with, but I will meet you tomorrow evening to finish this up."
Whereabouts?
You could actually just meet me outside this library, and I'll bring you over to my study. It'll just make things easier. You don't seem as though you're familiar with this area.
Haven't been here very often.
Well,
So-
then it probably isn't worthwhile for me to give you the street name.
True. So Andal will sit up and kind of thank him again, and turn around with a feeling looking like he's very content with himself. We'll default to Ryan Grumman as to where the hell we're going till tomorrow, more or less.
Okay. So when you guys do that, when you guys leave and head out, do you do anything in particular for the rest of the time until you're supposed to meet up with this person, which is tomorrow evening? You got like a day and a half, more or less.
Andrew
Is there anything that you wanted to do, or is it just the typical find a bed, sleep, find some food, get some drink, et cetera, et cetera?
I think Rye would inquire about what kind of weather would be down there.
Sure. It's going to, of course, be warmer because you keep heading further and further south. However, you're actually going into winter, so it doesn't matter as much. It's just going to be cold sometimes. But again, you're getting no, that's a temperate climate. My apologies, I was off there. It's a temperate climate, so it'll be cold, but it's not going to be anywhere near as fucking cold as the last winter that you spent way up in Icewind Dale. Because like Icewind Dale was literally the tippity top of the north of Faerun, and you spent the winter there. It's gonna be like a typical winter down here in a temperate climate. So like northern Cali, New England, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Don't you still have clothing for that, Sam? I believe you do, right?
It's like a fur coat.
Yeah. Feather coat, actually. That I don't think she's used yet either. So
She did, and then it got wet or something.
Well, I haven't used it properly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Used
The
properly yet.
abilities it comes with.
Yeah. Okay, so cool. So that's all set up. You guys spend your day resting, relaxing, and all that. Once you get down there, obviously you know that you're gonna have to try to find out where it is that you're going to next. But we can worry about that once you get there and all that. So the next day, when you guys go and you meet him outside or the next evening when you go and meet him outside the library, my apologies. You meet him. It's a pretty pleasant greeting. He ends up bringing you over to his study. Where right outside of his study, he says, "You of course brought the gold with you."
I guess Rye would have given Ramen the chest to carry. Just a chest of like 2,500 gold that she counted out the night before.
Sure. So then he would gesture to the chest when he
There's
says
like
that.
a scene of Rye and she's bored and she's like counting the money and she looks like she's talking to herself, but then you'll see her shadow move occasionally and she's like, "No, you're coming too." And then she'll keep counting and be like, "We can stay if you want." And the shadow will move again.
I love it.
So count it out.
Okay, cool. So she more or less she just gestures to the chest, and and you guys have that agreement. And so he nods to that, and then when you guys go walking in, you can see that as he opens the door and walks in, inside the place, there are quite a few creatures inside there that are just absolutely bizarre looking, that are standing there and looking at you guys as you're walking in. It is very alien looking creatures. And so as you kind of walk in and you just like look about and you're like, "Holy shit, what is all this stuff?" And he's just kind of like raises his hands and he's like, "To be frank, I don't know any of you. And so I summoned some security to keep an eye on this exchange until you were to leave my abode." And
I like security.
And again, the creatures that you're looking about and seeing, they're rather alien. But Rye, you know that one of them, it just seems familiar to you for one reason or another. But it's no connection, no anything like that. It just kind of like as you're walking past it, you feel this like familiarity between you and it, but nothing very strong or noteworthy beyond that. Eventually, you go walking into his study, which of course is a small library. It's circular in shape, has books lined around, has a desk off to the side. It's absolutely beautiful. But in the middle of the room, he has a large tapestry or carpet that's put onto the floor. He goes over to it, and with the casting of a spell, you see the thing start to roll up on itself and leave itself like leaned comfortably against one of the walls off to the side. And underneath it, engraved into the floor, you see a whole bunch of arcane runes and everything drawn in a circle and engraved into the floor. After he does that and gets it all set up and he starts pulling out all these materials and everything that he needs to do to cast the spell, he then looks to you guys and says, "Of course, the gold, if you could leave it there." And gestures to like a table.
Ramen puts the gold on the table.
Immediately afterwards, he casts another spell. You guys can the two of you can quickly identify it as being an unseen servant. And the servant goes over and opens the chest, assuming it's unlocked, opens the chest and just starts counting the coins rather rapidly to make sure that there are, in fact, the 2,500 gold pieces. In the meanwhile, he's going through his process of casting his spell, which is going to
Gregory's not here.
Oh, inside the city. Oh,
Yeah.
That's a good point. I'm so sorry. I forgot about that. Okay. So Grommen, so as he goes to start casting spells, the coins are happening. Does Grommen go, Gregory's not here?
Well, I mean, Grumman's not gonna give him the chest until.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So let's retcon it back for a minute because I honestly forgot about that detail too. So so you before you give him the chest, before you actually put it down, you say,
I say, what about Gregory?
are you referring to the bird?
Yes.
Ah, yes, that could be. I have a plan for how it is that we can make this work. The bird would have to be able to get into this location, and that's going to be rather difficult to do, gesturing towards the door and how small it is, and then over to a window, which is even smaller. He's like, but I do have a means of making this happen. This bird, you have a strong connection with him.
Yes. Grumman just assumes he does.
It's a giant eagle, so they're intelligent creatures, but you have a respect for one another.
Yeah, I respect Gregory, and he respect me.
So he'd be willing to enter an uncomfortable situation for a short period of time?
Grumman remembers what he did to Gregory, and then he says yes.
Wonderful. Hold on, let me go and get something for you. And he goes over and he goes over to like his bookshelf, and he actually takes down a very thick-looking tome. He pulls it out and opens it up. And inside, you can see it's one of those classic, like, oh, the tome has been like the pages like glued together, but not really glued together. They were just like, it was designed this way, it's wooden. And it's got the hollowed out thing on the inside. And he pulls out this strange looking, it's folded up, almost looks like a piece of a pie, this strange black thing. And he closes the book and puts it back inside there. And as he's walking over towards Grommen with this strange black piece of pie, he's unfolding it until it comes out into a very large diameter circle that's completely black. And he takes the circle and he throws it out and it lands on the floor in front of Grommen. And Grommen, when you look in front of you, you see a large black circle. And he's like...
Grumman looking at it and scratches his head, and he's looking at Rye like, what is this?
Could you do me a favor? Grommen it is, correct?
Sorry, what'd you say? I was coughing.
No, sorry. He's like, could you do me a favor? Grommen, correct?
Yes, I Grumman.
Amongst the arsenal that you carry on you, could you just toss one of those weapons onto the circle?
What you going to do with it?
Absolutely nothing.
Then why you want me to throw it there?
Right, just like tosses her useless longsword.
Yes, tosses her longsword and just tosses it into the thing. And it literally, instead of landing on this black circle, it actually tumbles down into it by about 10 feet and lands into a hole. There's apparently a black hole that's about 10 feet deep. And now the sword is 10 feet down. And he's like, do you think you can convince the bird to get into this?
Maybe.
If you could do that, you could fold it up and bring him back here. The guards would be none the wiser. And he would be able to easily get into my study, and then we can just finish this spell, and you could be on your way.
But where'd my sword go?
He casts Mage Hand, and you see it lift back out because you could see it at the bottom of the hole. He casts Mage Hand,
the sword and puts it back.
Puts it back out, yeah.
Or he looks it over to check to see it looks fine, and then puts it back.
Yeah. Oh, it was Rye's sword, but so he gives it back to Rye after you see everything's perfect. Yeah.
It was one of mine. Okay.
Yeah. And it's perfect. It's perfectly fine. It was just literally like thrown into a hole.
She's like, I think you've got enough weapons.
Okay. I guess Grumman's gonna try to convince Gregory to go in the hole.
Okay. So he's like, to grab the thing, you just use a pinching motion like this at any rim of the hole. Just a pinching motion like this. Once you get a little lip up, you can then just grab it as normal and fold it up. It's easier if you have two people to start it, but of course one person can do it. He walks to the opposite side of the hole and he bends down and he pinches it to show you how to pinch it up, and then you guys like do the whole folding a sheet thing together. You're like, oh, and eventually he just hands it to you.
Okay.
And Grommen goes to leave.
Sounds good.
So while Grommen goes to leave to do this, he is going to take Otto's. But he's like, "May I see
Ander.
your book then?" Ander's book.
Yeah.
He goes to take your book and so look it over for a short period of time. And so he takes a thing and he starts flipping through it, trying to see if there's anything. And he actually makes a couple of like oohs and ahs and points of interest while Grommen is gone, and eventually decides upon a spell. He's like, "Oh, I've discovered what it is I'm going to copy.
I'm curious. What?
I've discovered what it is I'm going to copy. It doesn't really matter which one it is, does it?"
No, not really. I'm curious. That's all.
No. And he proceeds to start copying it without telling you what it is. After while you guys are there, you're actually inside his study, inside the study of clearly a powerful wizard. For a long period of time, do the two of you do anything while you're here, or just kind of like look around and be bored?
No, I'm looking around for goodies.
Fuck, I always forget that Rye is like a thief. Oh my god. Okay, Rye.
Is there anything like particularly appealing in this study?
Like every book, probably.
Is there anything that calls out to Rye?
Roll me a perception check, please. Pretty please,
Okay.
and thank you. God damn it. Okay, so I mean, obviously Rye's not looking to grab like a statue and bring it with her, right? She doesn't have a big black hole.
No.
So she's looking for something that's small and palmable. She notices there are a couple of gems that definitely stand out as just the way that they're laid out on the kind of like, svelte cloth or whatever it is. The way that they're laid out, the way that they're perfectly aligned, separated from one another, the shine that they have to them. One of them such a deep, deep, deep red. One of them, the color of blue, looks like it captures the ocean. Another one, it's so crystal clear. And as you were walking past it, you swore you could hear the sound of rushing wind. And the final one is just like the color, like this deep brown, just like the color of just like this deep earth rock, right? Brownish gray. Another one that another area that you walk by and it really happens to catch your eye is leaning against the wall. There's this beautiful staff that's right there, but clearly you can't grab. It's too big, right? It's a big staff. So you grab it. But on a small shelf that's lying next to the staff, there are 5 wands that are lined up right there, all looking very different from one another. And then you do see other things as well, but over inside like a case or whatnot, you do see a couple of like rings and earrings and some bracelets and stuff, but they're all kind of like locked up behind a glass case and everything. They're less on display. You obviously see over by his desk, which he happens to be sitting at, but over by there, tons of material components they would use. There's actually one particular material component catches your eye, but it doesn't catch your eye necessarily with the idea of, ooh, I'm going to take some. It actually catches your eye, and it makes you think of one of your friends. As you walk by, you see that he has this little crate that's the top to it, the wooden top of the box, is slightly lifted off and turned to the side, allowing you to see it's a small wooden box completely filled with diamond dust. And in seeing it, it just reminds you of Thunk. But other than that, you do see a bunch of other material components like, oh, is that the hearts of chickens that are lined up on there? And various other components and whatnot on his desk.
I don't see any like uniquely magical items. I just see. I mean, Rye's interested in those wands, dude.
You said that like it was plural. To describe the wands to you, one of the wands, you go over and you look at it, and it has this kind of like crisp look to it, whereas it has this waving curl to it. The very tip of it looks as though it's been charred and burnt a ton of times. It definitely seems to have this like supernatural charring to it. Not a big deal. Another one of the wands is made out of a copper. It's like a thin piece of copper. It is perfectly straight. It's very, very, very simple. Sans one little gem that's at the very base to it. It's a green stone, probably emerald. Oh, okay, I thought you were saying that.
Oh, you said okay.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Another one of the wands that catches your eye. It's like really ugly. It's twisted. It's made out of like a crystal that did not grow straight by any means. It has not been worked. It's just like this growing, twisted crystalline one. The fourth wands that you see is going to grow. It's made to be in a spiral. It's a combination of like a wood and a metal. It actually comes to a spiral. Even the way you would hold the wand itself would be amongst the spiral. And the last one is just very simple looking. Just a plain, simple looking wooden wand.
Rai is interested in the simple looking one.
The last one she sees, just a plain, simple one?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So what's your plan here, Sam? Talk to me.
I don't know, maybe it goes missing.
Maybe it just goes.
I don't know.
missing.
Maybe it goes missing.
Are we just gonna just roll a flat roll and see how it goes? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe right before they get in the pool, it might go missing. I was just saying, I was just having a look around, just wandering around, and yeah. Rai likes to look at the simple one. I feel like he won't miss the simple one.
Okay, so he goes over and he's just kind of looking at it. Rai, roll for me a sleight of hand check
Okay.
with your plus 89. Okay. You are dealing with the elf. Elves are very perceptive.
I'll be back in a sec.
Oh, okay. Nope, no problem.
Go to Gregory talk.
Of course, Maggie. So you go walking out, and eventually, you're able to find Gregory. Once you get back outside, you start calling for him to get his attention.
All right. I'm calling for him. Scree, scree.
Lands and meets you about 100 feet outside of the city.
All right. I at this point, can I say that I've already casted my talking to him thing?
Yeah, of course, not a problem. While you called for him and while you're waiting for him to come or whatever, no problem.
Okay. So we find way to go to place fast.
He's like, so Gregory's response, you found way fast?
Yes, but I need you go in city.
You told me before that I would be shot if I go into city.
But I have way to get you into city.
How is this?
Okay. You promise? You will try?
Are there going to be bubbles?
No bubbles.
I will think about it.
Okay. Grumman pulls out this tiny little thing, and then he opens it up and he puts it down, and he's like, you go inside and we go in.
How do I go inside looking down at just a black circle on the ground? And it's kind of doing a walking around and kind of getting close and doing the eye look, the bird sideways eye look. It's kind of
You
around the rim of the hole.
Walk inside.
Walk inside?
Mm-hmm.
Show me.
Oh no. Then I can't close.
You close it when I'm inside?
Yeah, so I can take you inside.
You close it when I'm inside so you can take me inside? But it was small and now it's big.
Exactly.
I'll fit when it's small?
I guess. That's what they say.
Roll me your persuasion with advantage, Maggie, because you're friends.
Okay. Oh my god, this is gonna be bad if I don't. Okay.
Hey! So obviously with apprehension because of what had happened before with the bubbles, Gregory, again with a lot of apprehension, kind of puts a claw in and sees that it actually goes down into the rim and is genuinely curious about it. And so looking back up at you, looks down at it and does a little bird hop.
He's like, be careful.
And lands the 10 feet down. And so if he stands at its full height, so he stands up fully, his head could be able to crest the rim of the thing. But fortunately, there's space in there for him to kind of keep his head down and whatnot. And so Gregory is, again, not satisfied with the situation, but is trusting you and is willing to go along with this.
Okay. One of these days he's not.
Yeah.
And I close it up and I carry him inside.
And so you grab it and you kind of like lift it up. You're like, oh, how am I going to? You're gonna do like the whole like if you're trying to pull a pool cover over a above ground pool all by yourself. And it's such an uncomfortable situation. And so you get eventually you're able to fold the thing up and whatnot. And it's kind of one of those like, Greg, are you in there? And you have
No,
this.
I
Like,
don't shake it. I'm like very precious with it.
so you have this like this again pie-sized flat black thing that's in your hands, and you start walking back into the city. Eventually, you're able to make your way through and back into the study, and make your way. Again, the creatures don't bother you when you go in there and into the actual the room there where your party is. Sam, you know what ability you have with your 19 check.
What?
I assume you intended to use it.
What's that?
The Dark One's Blessing.
Oh, have we short rested since the last time?
It's been like a month
All right, cool.
more. And so with your 28
28.
sleight of hand, he eventually comes over, happy with the spell that he has taken from what's his name? Ander. And Growling comes in with the flat thing and folds it out, and the bird comes out, and he's, it's this giant eagle. It's very large. He eventually does his ritual and casts a spell that makes the runes on the ground glow. They grow with such brilliance and whatnot. The funny thing is, when they glow, the area inside that circle that starts to glow, the area inside there is like wavy. The what you see is not just like the other side of the circle. Sure, you can see what was beyond the circle before the spell was cast, but it's like opaque and distant and distorted and strange. But you also see something else kind of like opaque and layered over it and behind it at the same time, some other reality. And he tells you that you're able to step through and it will bring you to the other side of where it is you guys are trying to go. It will bring you to Boulder's Gate.
Sweet.
Okay. Rise the first one through. She just salutes and jumps.
Okay, so Rise is like, okay, salutes and just hops right in. Maybe it's a little peculiar. I don't know. Rise sometimes a little strange and funky and just kind of willing to jump in. So Rise kind of whoop and jumps right through. And so Rise jumps through the thing on this side. Who else follows? Who goes next?
Ander like pulls out his flask and just kind of like in a cheersing motion and takes a swig, covers it, and then just walks through.
Followed by Grumman and the bird.
Yeah. Do I have to open the thing up for him or?
Oh yeah, you would have already opened it and let the bird out and all that stuff. And Gregory again would have just been satisfied with the situation. It was very quick and so on and so forth. It takes very little convincing to get him to go through the teleportation spell. That's actually the least offensive thing you've asked him to do so far. So he's more than happy to go through the teleportation spell. And you guys eventually do through on the other side. Now, when you do come through on the other side, where you happen to find yourself is actually inside the back. So Rye comes through first. You find yourself inside the back of a magic shop. So you kind of stepping through, you find yourself inside the back of a magic shop. You come through and you find a very, very startled gnome on the other side. He happens to be a forest gnome, similar to the one that Maggie had met before and the one that you travel with. And so you come stepping through the other side. You see a gnome standing there, and he's a little startled when you literally just kind of come hopping through. And he's like, "Oh, geez, who are you?"
Oh, I guess I'm first.
Yeah.
Rise like, hi, no one, just passing through.
Oh, no, that's fine. You're welcome to come through. I don't know you. Did you cast the spell?
No, it was a wizard.
Did you get his name? You did.
Well, yeah, I give it to him.
Okay. And he's like, okay, so you just paid for services?
Yeah.
Okay, and your name? Rye. Pleasure to meet you, Rye. Anybody else coming? And then Ander comes popping through. Okay. What's your name?
Bibble bobble. Keep walking.
Bibble Bobble, could you hold on 1 second, please? How many more are coming through? And Grumman just kind of comes walking through afterwards. Oh, okay. Hi, you're a big fella. Okay, yep, it's getting a little crowded in this room, but that's not a big deal. You guys look around, it's kind of a small room. He's like, but that's not a big deal. It's how many more are coming through?
Giant eagle.
In a
And
giant.
as you're saying that, and it's literally like you guys are like really crammed in this room now, and it's like, sorry for the questions. Just make your way out. Just head straight out the front door, please.
Andrew's already on his way.
Is there anything of value around me?
It's a magic shop. It's a magic shop shortly after it closed. Yes, absolutely.
Is there anything that I could easily be interested in as I make my way to the door?
There are so many gems sitting on shelves. There are so many baubles and whatnot that you try to grab.
Okay.
That you could try to grab.
All right.
So you go over to grab one of them?
Yeah, just something on the way out.
Sure. So you
I'm
go
in
over.
that kind of mood.
You go over and you try to grab it, and one of the things that you notice is that it's like stuck, like it's like stuck there. So you just go to try to like pick it up, and it doesn't move.
Okay.
Do you want to make a strength check to like really try to grab it, or
I just let go and grumble and leave.
and make your way out? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you go making your way out, and then he's like, "Oh,
Do I notice what Rye was doing?
It's a really good question. Rye, sleight of hand, Maggie, perception.
There's no way.
Oh no.
There's no way.
I mean, with a natural 1,
I
he
could
beats you.
roll
So like,
a 1 and beat.
Yeah, we want to see it anyways, of course.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Okay, there you go.
I was gonna
Beautiful.
help if I saw it, but
Okay. So
my perception's usually so good. It's great.
So you guys go walking through and make your way just straight out the front door, except for, of course, Graham will have to stop halfway through, noticing that the bird is still stuck in here, and he's like, "Okay, we can make this happen. Yes, I can get this out of here. It's not and the bird's already like over by the doorway and like not happy to be stuck in this tiny space and kind of like moving. And birds seem a lot larger than they really are because of all their feathers and everything. So it's kind of like squeezing and pushing its way through the doorway and eventually makes it out of the doorway of the back room area and into the front room where it instantly like starts knocking stuff over and like knocking things aside or whatever and just heads straight over. So
no, and Ground's like trying to catch stuff before it drops.
the bird then goes to follow after Andrew and Rye out the front door, and luckily the front door is a bit wider, so it's a bit less of a struggle, but does push its way through and out the front door into the streets of Baldur's Gate.
And Grauman just has like a bunch of stuff that the bird was knocking over and like hands it back to the guy and is like, sorry, and like leaves.
Oh, thank you. And as Grauman's kind of like going to leave out the door, he's like, well, what was your name? But Grauman is literally out the door as he's asking. Nothing? Okay. And now you guys are here in the streets of Baldur's Gate, finally having traveled all the way down to the south. We're talking the number of miles you guys traveled down to the south this session is absolute insanity. So from here, I know one of the first things that Rye is going to want to do, because this is literally, she'd seen on a map that she needed to be down in this region, but it was so long ago since she's seen it on a map. She knows that she's going to need to be able to get her hands on a much more localized map. You guys don't even know the name of the country you're in. At least you two don't, or wherever you are in relation to. You guys don't. Luckily, Andrew does. He knows that you guys happen to be in the Western Heartlands right now, but you are you guys are going to have to go out and find a more localized map so you can find out where it is that you're really going and starting to try to plot your course moving forward. One of the other things I do want to point out is that at the end of last session, before you guys left Silvery Moon, one of the things that you were given, Rye, at the bottom of that letter that you were handed, was a spell for you to cast, and that spell is divination. So the confines of the spell divination is you can ask a single question from a higher power and it'll give you answers. And these answers, sure, they can be cryptic or whatever, but they're going to be accurate, okay? The only downside to the spell is that it only works within 7 days in the future. And so obviously Raya wasn't going to cast this walking out of Silvery Moon or in any of the places she traveled through. She knew not how far away she was for where she needs to go. And so now you know that you're in the area. If you're within 7 days yet, we're going to have to find that out in the very near future. But you are down in at least the region, the country, whatever it is that you need to be to finally accomplish this long awaited task, the one that has been kept from you for so long. So that being said, you guys are in Boulder's Gates. You're going to kind of make your way around and find yourself some rooms. Because of how late it is and everything, you're going to find yourself some like meh quality rooms, but at least you can get one. Ander, unfortunately, the inn that you find your way over at does not have a tavern in it. Do you intend to go over to a tavern for the night as well, or screw it, it's been a long day, let me just go to bed?
I'll polish off whatever's in my flask.
Okay, not a
that'll be
problem.
my drink.
And that'll be your drink for the evening. And then with that, we are going to call it for this week.
Wait,
and,
first I need the Arcana check in my room and find out what that wand was.
Oh, do you have Identify? Because I know he does. But
I
do.
do.
You have Identify?
If you don't have Identify, Rye, I can do it.
Okay. Right, kind of like whips it out at the table.
Don't whip it out at the table.
Yay!
And hands it to Andrew's like, what's this?
Oh, it looks like a wand.
Where you get that from?
Rye winks at Grumman.
Grumman winks at Rye.
Asks again, where'd you get it from?
That trip was expensive. I had to recoup the cost.
And like Andrew doesn't seem to like he cares, and he picks up the wand and he starts inspecting it for 10 minutes. And I cast Identify as a ritual. What is it?
Okay. Before I say the title, one of the things that you immediately get off the wand is that the energy on it, it's just a plain simple wand. It looks boring, it's simple. One of the energies you immediately get off of it is conjuration. No. Necromancy. No. Divination. No. Oh crap. It's like ever swirling and changing. Like the magic you're getting off of it is all over the place.
Yep.
Okay. It is you're testing the magics on this one, and you start to feel just every moment, every second that you're studying this thing, what it can do. What you never fully learn exactly what it's capable of doing because it can do so many things, and it's never the same thing twice, or at least it's extremely rare that the same thing happens twice. Finally, at the end of the casting of a spell, you come to your conclusion, not because the magics are incredibly definitive for what it is that not because it's incredibly definitive of what it is that the wand can do. It's definitive of all the things it can do. This is a wand of wonder. It is a wand that has a crap ton of charges, and you roll a D100, and
the charges recharge daily.
That's
at dawn.
Hell of an item and scary at the same time. So after Andrew's like it looks like he's like messing with it and like plucking at things that aren't really there above the wand. After about 10 minutes, he like slams his hand over the wand and looks to her eye. Are you a gambling woman?
I certainly am.
He picks up the wand and throws it your way. I don't know what the hell's
going it on Grumman.
Okay.
Oh no!
Do we end it here?
No, we gotta know.
Oh, here, do we?
Wonder
do we
5e.
Hold on.
Nope.
Don't roll the die yet.
He already did. I heard it.
I already did. I cast enlarge. You enlarge the target as if you had cast enlarge. If the target can't be affected by the spell, or if you did target creature, you become the target. I enlarged Grumman in the tavern.
Thank God you didn't roll like fucking fireball.
Grumman, you're fucking huge. Oh my God!
Is this
size
permanent?
Doubles in all dimensions, and its weight is multiplied by 8.
Grumman was 7 feet tall. Grumman is 14 fucking feet tall now. Grumman is 14 fucking
They're not gonna
feet
let me
tall
in the
now.
city now.
So it's as though you cast enlarge. So I'm assuming it has the same time, and it'll
Correct.
eventually go away. And I do have dispel magic if I desperately need to get rid of it on you. So don't worry, you're gonna be all right.
Oh my God!
But yeah, again, so the scene is just like Anders doing all this stuff, and he's asks for gambling, he smiles and throws it at her, and as soon as she snatches it, I just imagine Ryan just being like, oh, and just doing it. Anders like takes a gasp for a minute because like he at least got glimpses of what the wand can do. Fucking scary that he did that. Grumman grows huge. I like let out a huge sigh. Ryan, that shit can kill somebody with the right roll, more or less.
Hold on. You say Rye that could kill somebody with the right roll. Grumman now weighs over 3,000 pounds.
Oh Jesus!
And you start to hear.
Oh God! What dispel magic? Like as soon as I start hearing creaking.
roll me a reflex save, Mathis.
All right, no problem.
A dexterity save.
I will go ahead and roll me a dex save. And for the sake of it, I'm going to swap that out for an 18 from my portents. So it's a natural 18
You
plus
asked
2.
Ryan if she was a gambling woman.
Yeah.
And she responded, this
So-
is hilarious. She's laughing her head off.
It'll be a 20 total.
Okay.
So for chat, I have an ability called Portents. At the beginning of every day, my character rolls 1d20 twice, and then I save those numbers, and I can replace an attack roll, a saving throw, and an ability check with that number if I so choose.
In case you heard a shit ton of dice rolling throughout the session and didn't see them actually on the overlay on the stream and where it usually is, every day that I described them waking up, Mathis was going ahead and just rolling those 2d20. One time he rolled 1d30 by accident, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, wipe that
But
out.
he's been rolling this. If you've been hearing those random dice, that's what it was. Is every morning he does that. So you just change out your dex save to an 18, making it a 20 with your +2, meaning you definitely get there in time to cast the spell. And because it's a 20, like I was going to allow you to pass with a certain number, and you like passed way above that. So because you passed so well, you actually stop and you make Ramen small again before there's any visible structural damage, at least at this floor.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
So-
I could have petrified Grauman.
You could have fireballed Grommen.
I could have turned him to stone forever.
Yeah. You could have
Oh,
also
man.
you could have
That'd be
also
horrible,
opened.
because I've had a character turned into stone before.
So, anyways, that was amazing.
And
I'm
then they
so
put
glad.
me on like the ship, like the front end of the ship.
Yeah.
First of all, stone, not wood. That's like heavy.
Yeah.
That's like the ship would like, you know. But anyways, that was amazing. That was a perfect ending of the session. Thank you, Sam, for
Oh
that.
my god. Everyone in chat was just like, pay up first.
Oh God.
I was worried. I was like, oh my god, there's a chance I could just be dead right now.
Oh God. Oh
This is
man.
gonna be
There's
fun.
there's so many things that could go. Like, I love that a cloud of 600 oversized. But okay. So, anyways.
Oh my god. If I would have died and had to re-roll, that would have been intense. This is
Thank you,
all
guys.
Sam's plot to be the last one. The only one of the main characters that actually survives.
So next session, you're definitely going to be able to immediately get your hands onto a map, and we can start bringing you to where it is that you need to be. But awesome. Thank you guys so much for this session. I know we had to cut it an hour early this week, but that's not a problem, because starting next week, we will be getting things done. Travel montage done. The introduction to Otto and what it is that he could do, all of his abilities, all that stuff taken care of. We kind of know the party, and in a bit of a strange way, it reminds me of an episode of Sex and the City. Don't ask. You guys found out that Thunk died via a letter. So
Honestly, I can't even blame like Ryan Gromman for doing that, because like some cryptic person is like, "Yo, go to the west." Why? Can't tell you. Who sent you? Can't tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
like,
like, fuck that. I ain't going. That sounds like a trap.
ain't going.
Cool.
So-
We'll be back next week for week 35. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We may have a guest next week if we can get somebody in there. We're working on that, but we'll go around the room, see what people are doing this week as always. Sam, what do you got going on, man?
Right after this, I'm going to be playing Cuphead Co-op
Nice.
with Octopimp. But mostly, I'm just playing Divinity 2 this week on twitch.tv/stripping at noon PDT.
How you enjoying that,
Oh,
by
no.
the way?
I keep hearing amazing
amazing.
things about
It
it
is amazing.
nonstop.
The
Yeah.
GM mode is going to be like so fucking
Yeah,
good.
the GM mode is very flexible. Like, it's still early, but I'm like, I put it on like roll 20 flexible almost. Like, you can do a lot with it. People have also said this is like the best CRPG since Baldur's Gate 2.
Hey, I know. I believe. I'm almost positive EE has been streaming or doing the DM
Yeah, I
mode
think
for
he
that
has.
one.
Yeah, he
But
did.
Yeah.
but has anybody else really been fiddling with that or getting?
The
Well-
DM mode like isn't like there's a bunch of assets that aren't even in it yet. It's not.
Oh,
not
gotcha.
Finished. So,
Yeah. So it's one of those that kind of like struggle through it now to get familiar, because when it really unlocks, it's going to be a fucking beast.
Mm.
Yeah. I haven't seen that yet though. So I
It's
mean,
cool, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Sam, you played, didn't you, with Matt Mercer as DM? So
Yeah.
during the Divinity launch, which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Cool. Maggie, what you got going on this week? Getting
stuff
better?
and things. You guys can find me at Margaret Cronin, all the places: Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, things. I'm sick, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen. But I know I will be here for Thursday for more
Yeah.
Bloodlust. Was rough.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday I'll be over at Roll Fort for our Layla show. So yeah.
Sweet. And Scott, what about you?
Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is like 6 a.m. for you guys. That's crazy. Playing some Mass Effect 2164. We're actually almost done with this campaign. And then we're going to be starting the next one shortly afterwards, which will be a non-human version of Mass Effect, which is loads of fun. And then in the afternoons, I play with my buddy Ollie over on his channel. And then Friday nights, I do an Eberron campaign. That one's been fucking intense lately. Like it was like super intense. Like one of the party members found out their sibling had been replaced by a changeling, and then they went and talked to that changeling about it, and more or less the changeling was like, yeah, hey, listen, you're complaining to me about losing family. First world problems, man. I'm a changeling. You have no idea what it's like.
Yeah.
And it's been super intense, but whatever. So loads of fun, lots of D&D and stuff.
Cool. And as far as the show is concerned, we'll be back on Thursday, like Maggie said. I'm excited. If you haven't been watching The Vampire the Requiem, it's only been 4 weeks so far, so you have, catch up. Last week was the big reveal as to what was in the box, which went as perfect as I fucking could have hoped with the party, and it was great. So at least go watch that episode. And now we kind of see the ramifications of their decisions of what to do with that this coming Thursday. Also, if you want to talk about the show, there's a subreddit. If you want to tweet at the show, you can go ahead and hit us up on the Twitter at Lost in It Show. And if you're a subscriber, all VODs are instantaneous. So if you missed it, you can watch this, or if you just want to wait it out for free, a couple of days, and it'll be over on the YouTube channel. And of course, if you want to directly support the show outside of subscribing, we do have a Patreon working towards our very first goal. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back on Thursday with Vampire and next Tuesday for week 35, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.